Hi everyone, hope you're all staying safe and well. Bernard here with the Citizen Channel's latest preview as we look forward to the game at Goodison Park, don't we? Manchester City at Goodison Park against Everton on 17th of February 2021, 8:15 p.m. kickoff. Of course, it's the rearranged game, isn't it? That all the fallout about, oh no, we were naughty. Did we check with Everton first before we cancelled that game because of COVID? Whatever happens anyway. It was this is a rearranged one now. It's interesting enough, before we played that game, we actually sat fifth in the table before that game, and Everton was second. So yeah, I suppose they do have a point. They're not quite as in good form as they were then. Obviously, they're sitting seventh now, aren't they, Everton? And we're sitting top. And they're not having the greatest run at home either, but we'll talk about that as we go through this. It's on Amazon Prime, of course, this game, so as it was due to be, obviously, at Christmas time as well. So today we'll have all our usual features, a quick look at our opponents, what they're up to, any major injuries, any major problems with Mr. Ancelotti. We'll have the History Boys feature, just a quick look back at some of the old games and some of the old results, etc. And of course, the odds on the game are my just for fun bets. And please, if you're new to this channel, please push that subscribe button. I'm trying to get to, well, I'm very close now to 700. Obviously, that was my target for the end of February 2021. So I'm trying to get to 800 by the end of March 21. So you can push that subscribe button if you've not done so already. That would be great. And please, if you know any City supporting friends, please point me in our direction. I do City vlogs, City history vlogs, magazine vlogs, quizzes, lots of different things on there if you check the playlist. You can also see some stuff on film and TV as well. So if that's of any interest, say there's enough on football if you're not that bothered about that. But I do little film reviews, drama reviews, quizzes on there as well, film quizzes and poster battles, stuff like that. So have a look at that if that's any interest, or you know someone who might be interested in it. That'd be great if you can get them to have a look as well. All comments are very welcome as the subscribers grow. I've got up to nearly 700 now, but obviously I do hope by the end of the season to get up to that magical 1,000. So please push that button, it'd be fantastic. Right, all comments are welcome, and please, if you check the links, there's a Facebook and Twitter link there as well. I do post stuff on there, funny stuff, silly stuff, daft stuff, serious stuff, lots of stuff on there as well. And thumbs up. If you can give us a thumbs up if you can't comment, that'd be great if you could do that for us. Right, here we go. So what have we got today? Well, last time at Goodison, of course, was 28th of September 2019. Seems a long time ago now. There's a crowd in there that day. Seems strange, doesn't it? It seems so long ago now. But Everton won, Manchester City 3. But we did have to work quite hard to see off quite a spirited Everton side. You never know quite what you're going to get against Everton, are you? I mean, looking back at that game, he started well, and Ilkay Gundogan somehow hit the bar and it went over from about 3 yards out. And he's not this Gundalorian that he is now, obviously, but how we missed that, I'm not quite sure. But we did take a deserved lead when a fantastic KDB cross zoomed in. And Gabby Jesus, a bit dramatic, but he got his head to it and scored the opening goal, which was fantastic. But Everton didn't mess around. They responded well and they were soon level. Substitute Iwobi fought his way into the box and the ball dropped for Seamus Coleman, who's always likes a little punt, always likes a little shot, doesn't he? He beat Ederson with a dink shot, but Dominic Calvert-Lewin was making sure by diving in to head it in, if you remember, wasn't sort of very close to the line, whether it was or it wasn't. It's a bit mean, a typical striker's goal where it was going in anyway. It's a bit mean, really. So obviously 1-1 at half time. Mahrez had an excellent game, actually. Mahrez that day, and we'll talk about him later. Had an excellent free kick, restored the lead, and Raheem Sterling, who'd missed a golden opportunity in the second half, putting it wide when they sort of just the goalie to beat. Saw another goal. He did score a goal, but it sort of off the underside of the bar. It sort of seemed to bounce out, but obviously the old goal line technology was there, and it showed clearly that the ball had crossed the line. So he went on to make it 3-1 after Mahrez's free kick had made it 2-1. A fantastic free kick from Mahrez. That if you watch the highlights back. And we also needed Mr. Edison to pull us out of the mire a couple of times as well. So it was a tight game, and we got through it. And obviously we managed to sort of win the game 3-1, but it was tight. Obviously, I think it kept us about 5 points behind Liverpool at the time, but we all know how that turned out, don't we? Yeah, history, boys. We played 87 times away at Everton. We've won 21. Well, a total disaster, but not great. We've drawn 23 and lost 43, so it's not one of our least favoured grounds, if you like. We scored 97 and we let in 150. And our biggest win was back in 28-29. I know you're not gonna say I was at that one, but I think my granddad might have been at that one. Yeah, 6-2 win with 5 goals from Tommy Johnson in that one. He scored 38 in 39 league appearances that season. Absolutely prolific. And ironically, he was actually sold to Everton. Typical City, he helped them defeat us he helped them defeat City in the 1933 FA Cup final. Hey, but there you go. Yeah, and that 6-2 when the other score was Brook that day. Eric Brook scored the other one for Mr. Johnson's 5. So that was great. Our biggest loss was 9-1. 9-1. Back in 1906, 1907, the 3rd of September, and a guy called Fisher got our solitary goal. We did get a modicum of revenge that season. What a total disaster, but on Boxing Day we had a 3-1 win at Hyde Road over them, so obviously on aggregate we got well stuffed, but at least we won one of them. One of my early visits, there's a programme that'll be up there on screen, was this one here. I think it was my second visit to Goodison. But it was obviously Goodison. If you've been to Goodison, as it's sort of not so bad now, obviously, but in the 70s, you sort of had to be wary, and obviously. Little lads who were sort of a lot younger than you would come up and sort of obviously try and gauge, ask for a light or something like that. It wasn't the greatest place. It had sort of little lookouts for the bigger lads too, but it was interesting, put it that way. But I first went when I was about 14 or 15, but not great. We're all right. You've got to just watch yourself and practice your Scouse accent, perhaps, or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, that was one of my first visits, November 1975. That was a 1-1 draw with Tommy Booth getting City's goal that day. And of course, we wore the legendary red and black stripes, which got its first airing at Goodison Park back in the late 60s. So that was the first. Obviously, that was another 2-0 defeat. But that's another thing. That's in my little red and black feature. If you ever watch my history vlogs, there's a thing on the red and black, and obviously there's a little piece on the debut of the red and black kit at Goodison Park. So seek that one out. The lineup that day, just to show you the City team: Corrigan, Clements, this is November 1975, don't forget. Corrigan, Clements, Donachie, Doyle, Watson, Oakes, Barnes, Booth, Royal, Hartford and Stewart, with a sub, Mr. Paul Power. He'd do all right there in the future, wouldn't he? And we will have, obviously, a cup game coming up against Everton as well. So there's obviously one massive big cup game that I think most people remember from the 80s, the 81 cup run. And, of course, I'll probably cover that in that preview of that cup game when it comes about anyway. How are they doing? Well, yeah, as I said, they come into this game 7th. 3 points behind Liverpool. And they just lost 2-0 at home to Fulham. Fulham, of course, sitting 18th in the table. They did actually lead, don't forget, they actually led the Premier League in the early stages of the season. So obviously it's been a little bit up and down since then. They've got Jean-Philippe Gamanin, or whatever he's called. He's out injured at the moment, but obviously they had 3 or 4 faces missing against Fulham. But Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Jordan Pickford and Alan are expected to return, with James Rodriguez also likely to also still be available for that. So they will have a fairly strong team out for them. They're not too many injuries. Everton's home form's letting them down. That's what they're struggling on. They've played 11, they've won 4 and drawn 2, but they lost 5 at home, and they've got a -1 goal difference as well. But I mean, away from home, I think they're 4th or 5th in the table. They're doing quite well, but at home they're really struggling. I think they won 7 away and drawn 2 and lost 2. So yeah, for some reason they're struggling a bit at home, like some other teams are this year. It's strange, isn't it? Perhaps it is the crowd factor. Who knows? Yeah, the last 3 league games they've lost them all. So they lost to Newcastle, West Ham, and obviously now Fulham last weekend. So not great. They're not in great shape. Well, my little thoughts. I mean, yeah, we will await an update, of course, as I'm recording this on Ilkay. We're not too sure I mean, I'm doubting he will play. There's nothing to say he will, and it depends if they're that tightness. It might take a few, may need another 2 or 3 days to recover, unfortunately, because he was forced to come off against Tottenham, wasn't he? So that's looking a bit iffy. Of course, Kevin De Bruyne's returned to light training, but obviously Fernandinho are likely to remain sidelined for a week or so. I mean, I was going to stick Ferner in my team if Gundogan wasn't playing, but obviously that's put that on the back burner. So I'll put Gundogan in, and then if he doesn't play, well, I don't know. I have no idea. That's Pep's decision, isn't it? Nathan Ake continues, of course, to recover from injury, and of course we'll get all the latest on Tuesday afternoon. I think for Pep's press conference as I'm recording this. This is Monday afternoon. So it will be a blow if Gundogan is out, because he's one of the guys who has stepped up to the mark, hasn't he, for KDB's absence, and he's on a, that confidence is flowing through him, the Gundalorian. So I mean, it'd be such a shame. I mean, fingers crossed he's okay and he will play, but and I have put him in my starting 11, hoping that he will play, but. Will we have enough without him? Possibly. Yeah, I mean, if you'd said to me that it's going to all hang on Gundogan a few weeks ago, I would have probably laughed at you, to be honest with you. It's funny how things change, isn't it? Yeah, Everton. I've just looked a quick look at the match and the stats. They were basically outplayed by Fulham. Fulham by far the better team. They are 18th place, and I'm sure Ancelotti won't let them put in such a performance again, although as I said they've lost the last 3 league home games now, so to lose 4 on the trot, I mean, I'm sure they're talking some sort of records, but I don't know with Everton, because they've always been the great inconsistencies of Everton anyway, haven't they? So you're never quite sure what you're going to get with Everton. I think you have to knock the confidence. If they get the dander up, if you give them a chance, if they start well or they score an early goal or whatever, then they really do respond to that. So I think you've got to knock the stuffing out of Everton. That's the problem. You've got to, certainly last season, that 3-1 win, and certainly at 1-1, it was far from convincing. It always looked as though City would edge it, but you just got to get rid of that confidence, that little swagger, because they do have players that can harm you. That's the thing. They've got certainly good players, and Ancelotti knows what he's doing. Let's be honest about it. So if we can sort of dominate the game and get 1 or 2 goals, then I think we'll be okay. But the longer it goes on, or if they sneak a goal themselves, it could be a bit of a struggle. I mean, my 11, I'm going to go, as I said, I'll put Gundo in on the basis that he's okay. Anyway, I'll give you my 11 and let me just have a think on if Gundogan's not playing. My 11 will be Edison, Cancelo, Diaz, Stones, Zinchenko, Rodri, Gundogan, Bernardo, Foden, Jesus and Mahrez. Now, if Gundogan's not playing, I would have automatically stuck Ferner in there, but if Ferner's still injured as well, would you put Walker in and then move Cancelo up a little bit more? I don't know. I mean, we are sort of struggling, aren't we? Because I've put Mahrez in on the basis that he had a great game at Goodison last year, so I've risked Mahrez rather than obviously Torres or something like that, because I just think Mahrez, because he had a good game at Everton, I think he will start him, because I think he'll start him. He had an okayish game last time out, but so that's interesting, isn't it? I say that's all based on whether Gundogan's going to play. Let me know what you think anyway, because I say it's a bit of a quandary, isn't it, of what's going to happen there. I mean, obviously, I've not put Sterling in there, so I mean, obviously Sterling could play, but then again, you've got your midfield's a bit iffy, isn't it? This is a problem. Yeah, I mean, for Mahrez, it's either Mahrez or Sterling. Let's be honest about it. I think Foden and Jesus and Bernardo are rock solid. But I think it's either Mahrez or Sterling. I did put Mahrez in, as I said, because he had a good game at Goodison last season. So I think Pep might remember that and think he might have another one this time. And as I say, it's an either or. But so I have took a punt with that one, because I would normally put Sterling in ahead of Mahrez. But I said it's just because of the situation. You've got Sterling to bring on then if it isn't going too great. Let me know what you think anyway. With that team, we should be doing all right, don't we? The match officials, and I'll get you my score prediction. The match officials, we've got Andre Mariner is the ref. The Linos, Scott Ledger and Richard West. Fourth official, Lee Mason. VAR, we've got Simon Hooper. Yeah, I've heard of him, but he's not one of the main guys, is he? Assistant is Derek Eaton. I'm going my score prediction. I'm going for the 3-1 win. And with Gundogan in, definitely. Without Gundogan, yeah, I'm still going for it, but it's going to be a little bit harder. As I said, if you said Gundogan was the linchpin in this City team a few weeks ago to me, I would have probably laughed, you know, double pivots and various things. Well, there you go. This is what it's come down to, hasn't it, really? So it's really weird. So I'll go 3-1. Anyway, that brings us on to the odds. Please, I don't condone gambling only, and when the fun stops, stop, and never ever bet more than you can afford. This is literally pennies for me, just for a little bit of extra interest. Last time out, yeah, another profit. That's 2 games on the trot now. Little 1.4 profit. I had the half-time, full-time correct prediction, City, and I had under 10.5 corners, and so I got that as well. I think we only had 6, I think, in the Tottenham game. So, yeah, a little 1.4 profit. So that's more of that. Will be fantastic. Not great looking this week. It's not fantastic. Look at the Premier League now. You can get the best you can get on City to win the Premier League is 1-25 on. So there you go. If Everton beat us, that might drop a little bit. But 1-25. United are 25-1 now. Although Ollie says they're going to keep in touch, aren't they? Leicester are 66-1. I mean, I would have put Leicester a little lower than United, to be honest with you, but there you go. Everton 11-4 to get in the top 6. Now that's not very generous, considering there's certainly no guarantees. I think they're scraping. If they get in the top 6, they'll do very, very well. I think they're more top 10 than top 6, but 11-4 is very mean from the bookies, I think, to get into the top 6. Managers to go, yeah, Ancelotti's just as solid as Pep, really. They're both 100-1, so there's no real chance of any of those leaving the tenure anytime soon, is there? Match odds, City to win 1-3. Yeah, not too bad. 4 the draw and 8-1 for an Everton win. So there you go. 8-1's not a bad price. You never know. A nice, like squeaker 1-0 win Everton. You just don't know, do you? Both teams to score are identical. The bookies can't split it. No is 10-11, and yes is 10-11 the best price. So if you fancy both teams to score, I would go with try and get City a clean sheet, to be honest. Even though I've said 3-1, when it comes to my correct score, I've got 3-1, which is 11-1. I got a point on that. But I've also put 2-0 as well, which is 13-2. I put a point on that one. If you wanted 1-0 for City, it's 15-2. 2-1 is 8-1. 3-0 is 9-1. 4-0 is 16-1. 4-1 is 20-1. And if you fancied a draw, I'm not going to give you any Everton scores. They're not going to beat us, are they? If you fancied a 1-1, that's 10-1. That's not a bad price. Half-time, full-time. City is evens. Yeah, not great value there. A draw and City 3-1. Yeah, I will be a little bit worried if we're drawing at half-time, but hey, we should be all right. Anytime goal scorer, yeah, not much value on Raheem. He's 11-8. Jesus is 7-5. Mahrez is 9-5. That's not too bad. But Bernardo's 4-1, so I've got a cheeky point on Bernardo. I think he's due a goal, isn't he? And I'm fairly sure he will play. As long as he's fit, our little Duracell Burnley, as long as he's fit, that'll be fine. But yeah, I've 4-1. I'll have a little point on him. Cancelo's 9-1. That's not a bad price, but again, Diaz is 12-1. Stones is 13-1. But I mean, the chances of they're not going to score many goals in a season, are they? Let's be honest about it. The corner market under 9.5 is evens. Yeah, no real value in that one. Under 10.5 is 4-7. I think that's a safer, but again, 4-7 a bit mean. Under over market over 2.5 goals in the game is 8-13. I think it's not a great price, but I think that's a possibility, isn't it? 2-1 or 3-0 or 3-1. I think there's certainly chances with that one. If you fancy over 3.5, it's 13-8. But again, there's got to be 4 goals then, so it's looking for the 3-1, isn't it? But so that's not too bad. But again, I'm not gonna risk that. And my last bet I'm going to have a look at the odds. It's just something I've not do much of, but total cards, yeah. Over 2.5 is 4-5 on. So I'm just going to have a couple of points on that. Just so as long as there's 3 cards shown or more in the game to either team, it doesn't matter who, then obviously 4-5. I don't think they're bad odds, and I think we should be. Mariner's not versed to showing a card, is he? So yeah, I think I'll go along with that. So I've had over 2.5 cards, 4 to 5, just 2 points on that to finish off. Anyway, let me know if you're having a little flutter, what you're doing and what you fancy, etc. Of course, if you tune into the We're Not Really Here show, which is before the game at Goodison Park, we've got a trio of defenders. This team, these our defenders now are fantastic, aren't they? But these three would have kept a clean sheet for City, no doubt, week in, week out, if they all played together. Lescott, Richard Dunn and Andy Morrison, all in the studio with Kel Spellman. I think that's fairly sure. When I looked at the City site to look at it, they seem to get the last game with Everton's We're Not Really Here. We're getting mixed up with this game with Everton, so there seem to be things from each one coming on. So I'm fairly sure that's it. But if that's wrong, please don't. It's not my fault. It's the City site. It's a bit skew-whiff at the moment. It's got stuff from the old. It's got facts and figures. It had the old table from City being obviously further down the league and stuff for the thing. So if that's not correct, don't blame me. It's a City site. Useless, absolutely useless. They are on there. So anyway, if you like the We're Not Really Here show, I'm fairly sure it's Mr. Lescott, Richard Dunn and Andy Morrison, but please check anyway on the City site and say on Tuesday or Wednesday, and they'll confirm that. I'm sure if you like the programme, you don't mind who's on, do you? You'll watch it anyway. So there you go. So yeah, should be interesting. Let's go. Let's make it 17, eh? It'll be nice, and let's score a couple of early goals and knock the stuffing out of them. That's what we really need for tomorrow. Anyway, thanks for joining for this little preview show. Of course, I'll be back with a review on Thursday afternoon. Obviously, it's a late kickoff on Wednesday. I'm up at 2 a.m. on Thursday, so I will be doing it sort of as best I can on Thursday. So it will be a little later perhaps than normally. So it'll probably be about 3-4 o'clock or something like that on Thursday, the review of the show. And please check out a couple of my recent Citizen Channel vlogs, including a reaction, of course, to the Spurs 3-0 win. And a horrible history feature, special horrible history feature, looking at a trip to Notts County in February 1991 for an FA Cup 5th round. So please have a look at that and say it's part of our wonderful history, and it's what makes us who we are. These typical City games, as well as the good City games, aren't they? So please check that out as well. I enjoyed doing that. It's a nice, and there's even a watch along as well. You can look back highlights of the game and a little mini watch along, 6 or 7 minute watch along. So please have a look at that, see what you think. It's something I've done a couple of times, and hopefully if you think it's a little bit different, to the normal, an old-fashioned watch along rather than a current watch along. But there you go. Anyway, thanks for joining for this big match preview of Everton versus Manchester City at Goodison Park. All you've got to do is just have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your family. More importantly, let's all look after each other. Until we meet again here on the Citizen channel, or perhaps have a flit across and have a check of my film and TV channel. Whatever it is, all I ever ask of you out there is please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.